Brijesh Pandey this side. I wanted to ask you, one question. This peace process, this committee which has been announced yesterday, and the fact also that the lot of weapons is still out in the public. Despite the impassioned plea first made by the DGP, then the Chief Minister, and then by the Home Minister, a lot of weapon is out there in the hands of the public, militants, whosoever you want to call it. With people exiting from the peace process or making their displeasure known or saying that that they have not been consulted, and with that kind of weaponry out there in the public, how credible do you think that any attempt to to have peace process return to the state of Manipur would be?
No, we were talking about, say, the program is all about the constitution of the peace committee, so the focus was on the peace committee. But for the overall things, we have been saying that there should be a complete deployment of the military and the paramilitary forces to bring an end to any kind of armed aggressions, both from the Kuki side or the retaliatory offensive by the Meitei side. This was our point. This was our first demand, and we were also saying that in as much as the arms have been looted in the valley, there are also arms being looted from the hill area. So there has to be simultaneous kind of combing operations to seize all the illegal positions by the different sections of the populations. We have to see it holistically, and we are also saying that there should be a check to the infiltrations by the armed militants from across the border. This should also be stopped immediately. We are also saying that if the Kuki militants are responsible for the systematic attack on the peripheral villages, then the government of India should rethink to revoke SHU so that there is a complete disarmament of the organizations under SHU, and plus there should be a combined combing operations both in the hills and in the valley areas to retrieve all the stolen arms, because arms are not looted only in the valley. The number may be higher in the valley, but arms were looted on 3rd May itself in the hill areas. This was our understanding. Then at the same time, there has to be an intensified and maximum effort of providing relief to the victims across the communities who are now being either in the shelter camps or elsewhere. There has to be relief. And then the judicial commission should start up its process, and there should be a fast preliminary reports to identify. I and other friends here should not keep on, playing blame games here. Let's have trust to the judicial commissions. People can submit a report, let the judicial commission verify it, and only then something concrete, who are responsible, who are not responsible, what actions have to be taken up will come up. So I think there is no point of fighting on the media here about who is right, who is wrong, and who is the victim and who is not the victim. But as far as the peace committee is concerned, I'm sure as the complaints have appeared now, government of India must be thinking for a new plan or strategy or whatever it is. So let's have faith in government of India, and let's wait for an overall process where peace committee is an integral part to create a conducive environment for restoration of peace and order in Manipur.
Even Hemant Biswa Sharma, who came to Manipur, I don't think he was able to meet the Kuki representatives.
I think he met only the Chief Minister of Manipur, and what they had discussed, that is, I think, within the 4 walls. So the tribal communities or the Kuki communities are not aware what discussion had gone between them.
So what is when we talk about tribals, there are a lot of tribals, but there has to be a breakthrough. Do you think that only by replacing Biren Singh will there be a breakthrough?
See, the tribal communities, why I'm referring to tribal community, yes, the Kuki communities are affected. The other tribal communities, as of now, there are stray incidents happening that, one incident which happened in the airport where 3 Tangkul girls were attacked, and how quickly there was a response from the Kokomi and other Meitei societies in apologizing, giving compensation. And on the other hand, when with such brutality of violence happening in the valley since 3rd of May, and then no apology, no, what do you say? This double face uh, people, how this Kakomi and other groups come up with such kind of thing is really appalling. And it clearly shows the division among the Meitei community and the Kuki community. So if on one hand you have so much of distrust, so much of hatred against the Kuki community, then why don't you agree peacefully for the separate administration which the Kuki community are asking for?
Dr. Malem, is separate administration is an answer?
Not exactly, not exactly. Like, I started punching you so that you retaliate, and then I said that you beat me. I don't want to be your friend. This is a funny kind of, this is not appropriate way. If we mean to really settle the issues, then I think we need to sit down together. Let's think for the victims, be it Meiteis or be it Kukis or anybody else. You're talking about apology not coming from the Meitei side. There is no, I know, I mean, so far we have not seen any apology from the Meitei side. What about from your side? Did you initiate? No. There is a fight going on. And you and me were sitting here in Delhi or somewhere else are not actually physically involved with, but the trauma of war, the trauma of conflict, the physicals and the mental traumas and destructions are being faced by the innocent peoples. So I am only appealing that let's not aggravate the situations through our media brobeating. Let's try to at least scale down the conflict. Let's appeal to the legitimate authorities to bring an end to all these catastrophes, the killings and the attacks and the counterattacks. Let's sit together and let's fight collectively for relief. Let's fight collectively for rehabilitation. The peoples in More do not want to come to Imphal and live. They consider More as their homeland. They want to be there. We have talked with the peoples from Churasanpur, the victims. They don't want to come out and speak against the atrocities they have been facing for several decades. And why they are reluctant to speak out? Because they think that Churasanpur is very much their homeland. If they speak ills against what has been going on for many decades, they feel that they will not be allowed to come back. So they fear it and they don't want to speak out. This doesn't mean that there are not victims who are not being facing all these consequences. So I'm only appealing that let's think for the innocent civilians, peoples who have become victims of this wild aggression pursued by both the sides. Let's find out some mechanisms whereby peace is arrived. But if you talk about peace in the sense of complete separation, it's not going to help at this point of time. It will only aggravate the situation and escalate the conflict. If the other friends are always been eager for the conflict, then that's a different thing. Otherwise, if we are looking for peace, then let's find out something which are urgently required. Let's look for the mid-terms or long-term strategies where we can collectively sit together and resolve. We are all human beings. We can resolve among ourselves. But the consequence being faced by our people, whether it be by Kukis or the Meiteis, we have to accept that there are many people who do not want this war to continue. People are suffering. Let's think for them. Let's not think for the few elite sections, be it from the Meiteis or the Kukis, the power-hungry people, the corrupt people who want these conflicts to continue. Let's not do for them. Let's think for the people. That's my appeal.
Timothy, I think Dr. Malem made multiple points, and I want a quick response from you. Naga people are also opposed to separate administration. Without Nagas and Meiteis on board, is separate administration possible?
See, separate administration, yes, it is possible. What happened in Jammu and Kashmir, how the Ladakh, who have been voiceless and they've always demanded for an autonomy, how, they have given a union territory status in such a way, whether the Nagas of Manipur are involved or not, that is secondary. And I think that is also in the future course of discussion. And, whoever the talk is going to be held between the Nagas or the Meiteis or the Kukis, I think it is the central government to decide. But the only reason why this call for separate administration has come up is because of the years of neglect that has happened in the hill areas. And because of this neglect and deprivation of the development happening in the hill areas, and because of this extreme killing that has happened in the valley areas, and that is the only reason why they said that they cannot be with part of the neighbors whom they have been staying for a very long time, and the hatred that they carry on with them, and the hatred that they see the Kuki community, they can't, uh, how do you say, they are not able to assimilate themselves as a Manipuri or as a part of the Imphal area anymore. So that kind of hatred which they have shown, that is the reason why they say that let us be under a separate administration so that we can administer ourselves. As you see, the Manipur is not even under the fifth schedule nor under the sixth schedule. So the administration of the hill areas has always been an issue. And if you see Article 371C, which talks about the hill area committee, that is also dysfunctional. And on the other hand, Dr. Marem, which talks about peace as of now, where was he when this violence started in the Imphal area since the 3rd of May? Why the peace was not called out in the initial days? Why after so many days it took for him to call for peace, and for the other Meitei intellectuals to come for to call for peace?